It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for tuning in on a beautiful Thursday morning as we head back into the wild on your feel-good breakfast. So, my absolute favourite part of the show, and I say that all the time, but I really do love this, and we welcome back Luke Bax into studio. He is our conservationist expert, a man who knows way too much about conservation. But always we get into a little bit of that wildlife news, and could there be any bigger news than the 5 adolescent male lions that broke free from the Kruger National Park and been traversing the Mpumalanga area, I'm sure terrorizing farmers at the moment. 4 of them have been caught. I wonder if they chose to go Nelspruit direction along the N4. People have been sending some interesting... That wasn't them picking the lock. That's just a random picture. Luke, do we know any more? Has that 5th lion actually been apprehended yet? They were hoping to catch him before the end of the week.
No, so it hasn't been apprehended yet. Unfortunately, it's still on the road. So the 4 of them got out, and then well, the 5 of them got out, and they found out that the first time they found a couple of cattle carcasses. So then they were like, okay, well, obviously something's escaped.
This isn't Caracol.
No.
Would humans be in massive danger encountering a lion like these? Lions are wild lions. For them, surely humans would freak them out. Cars would freak them out.
Well, not necessarily. Like, I mean, they've spent their entire life in the Krugers. They do have some association with cars. I mean, you can see here the lion's not particularly phased.
Get inside your car, kid.
But at the same time, there are still wild animals. If they are cornered, they will act defensively. So, I mean, if someone comes around the corner and the lion is coming around the other corner and then they haven't got any way to escape, the lion will take the easiest option, which is through the soft, squishy human.
the hairless ape.
Yes.
OK, now looking at another story that's been trending at the moment, and it seems like quite a beautiful one. We move right across to the other side of the world, to Denmark, where for the first time in 200 years, they've found wild wolves. Is this true?
Yeah, so a couple of years ago, wolves were sighted in Denmark, but they were in 2 different spots. So they weren't sure if the male and the female were actually going to link up. So obviously they have now, and they've had pups. They've had pups as well. So.
Oh my goodness, man!
Yeah,
this is big news, because these are incredible.
It's massive
animals,
news to have them return to a country.
Were wolves the first to be domesticated? How long ago did it happen like that we domesticated wolves back in the day?
Initially, I think. Well, when the wolves were domesticated, they weren't domesticated in the sense that, oh, we're going to go hunt with them, they're going to do our work for us. But it was more, oh, we've got something that can defend us, like protect us against something that's...
A bear.
Yeah. So
or another human. Yeah.
While they go, they will assist with the hunting. So, like, let's say they're going after a bear or after a mountain lion or something, the wolves will be able to corner it while the humans do the rest. Okay,
it's almost like a symbiosis as well, I would imagine, where there's food, you know. Absolutely awesome. So we're going to get into our main topic for this morning, some wild birds. And, of course, we've got some unbelievable species drifting around this beautiful country. And we want you to phone in and pose your questions to Luke and myself. 083 9133 728. Have you had an encounter with a wild bird?
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
So Luke Bax joins us again as we head into the wild to tackle a very interesting subject. I know a lot of ornithologists, is that the right term?
Yeah, you got it.
Boom. Are interested in birds because South Africa has such a beautiful, diverse bird population. And believe it or not, the 13th of May is World Migration Day for our birds. So obviously with the season changing, and you would have seen, I don't know what that term is, the flocks of birds in their beautiful shapes now starting to shift and move to a different hemisphere to find, obviously, a pleasant, more suitable weather, but we are seeing a massive migration at the moment. This is a good time to be a bird watcher, yeah?
Yeah, no, we do have a lot of birds coming for their seasonal migrations through to the Cape, well, through to South Africa in general. It mainly occurs along our coastlines. So if the bird is generally flocked towards our coastlines now to get a sight of our rare vagrants, the ones that only come through for a season or 2. And yeah, we do get some very rare ones that pull through every year.
What is the most rare bird that you've encountered in your very now wide travels?
Probably, so a lot of birds, like, I mean, I've seen quite a few birds, but some of the rare ones that I've seen, I saw a citrine wagtail, snowy egret, and it's birds that are not necessarily actually ever found in Cape Town. They're just seen, they just randomly, they got lost and got here. But I've seen something like a Pell's fishing owl was spotted in Newlands. I mean, a Pell's fishing owl is normally only restricted to Botswana kind of area. Wow. And it just somehow ended up here.
And probably got a little bit lost. That internal navigation system might have been thrown off a little bit here. And we've got a beautiful diagram showing the magnetic flow around the Earth. Is this how migrating birds find their way around? Their internal GPS, yeah, I mean, it's amazing to know that they are travelling such wide, vast distances. How do they know where they're going?
So first off, they do use the sun's position, so it's kind of a navigational tool that they use. What are those geese? But yeah, so besides using the sun as a navigational tool, the birds also use magnetic fields. So they've got an iron oxide deposits in their beaks, and they've got they do have certain cells in just under their eyes that pick up magnetic fields. So they kind of get a direction for where they're going. And then obviously at night they'll use the stars, but for the most part they'll just actually end up spending the night roosted or perched somewhere.
Take a break, because how long can these birds be expected to stay in flight if they are traversing the globe? I mean, they're crossing oceans and things. They've got to fly.
Tens of thousands of kilometers. Before they take off, the birds will spend a large amount of time actually storing fat. They spend a lot of time almost power feeding, so they just eat as much as they can and preparing for their journey.
Packing a little putt course.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Awesome stuff. Well, I know a lot of people out there really interested in this field. As some of you, I know, have already sent through some great pictures. If you've encountered any birds that you'd like to ask any questions about, 08391333728. I've got a question to ask Luke in a moment, but please, we want to hear from you as well, 08391333728.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show, and welcome back to Into the Wild, where we're talking about birds. And we've now got Elaine joining us on the line, all the way from Durbs. A very good morning, Elaine.
Hi, how are you, Graham?
Very good, thanks, hun. I hope you're having a beautiful morning there in Durbs. You've got a comment or a question for Luke?
I have a comment. We've lived in our house for 5 years in Westville, and we have yellow-billed kites that return every year to us, and they fly over my husband and I to say hello, and we know it's the same one because he has no tail feathers. He's obviously been in a fight or something, and the tail feathers have been pulled out, and we feed him chicken livers. We throw them up, and he catches them. And every year they nest in the tree, and they have another baby, and him and his, well, I don't know if they've got the same partner, but they come back every year and nest in our tree.
Have you named them, Elaine?
Yes, Springfella.
As a Springfella hawk. I absolutely love it. Thank you so much. That is such a beautiful story. Thank you, Elaine. Is this something that we see with birds of prey? Are they creatures of habit? If they find a food source like that and a safe place to nest, will they keep going back to that same spot?
Most likely. They will have their certain nest points that they go to every year. So something like a Varro's eagle, they build nests over years. And every year they just build a new layer on top of the nest. And some of the
little
nests,
upgrades.
Yeah, some of the nests can be over 4 meters tall and about 4 or 5 meters wide, just because over the years they built it up. And eventually it falls over, and then they just make a new one. But something like a yellow-billed kite, they do return to areas as the seasons change. And the reason they're so comfortable taking things out of the air like that is they often eat insects.
They're one of those fast enough to actually do that.
Yeah, you'll see them flying over cornfield, over maize fields and everything. And often following the tractors, and as the tractors churn up the insects, they go and dart and pick up everything as they fly past.
Do they partner up for life? Is he likely, Stringfellow, likely to be returning with a different partner or the same partner, do you think?
It's most likely the same partner. A lot of predatory birds are monogamous. And then we'll only
take a lesson, guys. Take a lesson, okay? The fastest moving creatures on Earth are still monogamous. Absolutely love that. I'm going to ask one more question here, because you raised a couple of interesting points about the migration of birds across these massive distances. Why the flying V formation?
So the flying V formation is kind of similar to the cyclists in the peloton. They want to make the front guy do all the work, and then the guys at the back are pretty much doing nothing and just coasting. Scientists actually did a study in 2001, if I remember correctly. They put heart rate monitors on pelicans and compared the ones that fly in the front versus the ones that fly at the back. And the ones at the back had a significantly lower heart rate because they're pretty much just catching a free ride.
Well, let's hope that they have a rotation system like any good peloton. Dude, this has been a wealth of information to take in. There's an ornithologist in you. I can see it, my friend. Now, it's awesome to connect with you about something that is so special at this time of the year. So go out there and track the birds that are migrating, but keep an eye out for those incredibly rare species. We've got around, Luke says, 900 species of bird in South Africa, which is an absolute gift. So go out there, snap those pics, send us those videos. And that's us done for Into the Wild.